In the heart of Yumu's village, lived a girl whose name was sung like a melody by old women and admired like the morning sun by the youths. Uloma, gentle, respectful, hardworking, and full of life. She was the kind of girl every mother prayed her son would bring home, and every father wished to call daughter. Every morning, Uloma would rise before the sun, tie her wrapper firmly around her waist, and fetch water from the stream, humming softly as the pot balanced gracefully on her head. Her eyes sparkled with quiet joy, and her laughter was contagious. But it wasn't just her beauty that caught attention, it was her character. Her boyfriend, Richard, was her childhood friend, her classmate in secondary school, and her heartbeat. They were inseparable. From JSS 1 to SS 3, they sat side by side, shared lunch, and carried each other's burdens. Everyone believed it was just a matter of time before wedding bells rang. Uloma would visit Richard's home every weekend. She would help his mother pound yam, sweep the compound, and wash dishes while his younger siblings played and called her, "Our wife, our wife." She'd smile and pinch their cheeks while sweeping. It felt like home. Richard wasn't wealthy, but he tried. He would save his little pocket money to buy her clothes during festive seasons and sometimes give her money for sanitary pads when she didn't ask. Uloma saw the effort, and that effort was everything to her. She believed in him deeply and waited patiently for the day he would ask the question every woman dreams of. But not everyone shared in her joy. One hot afternoon, while they queued at the boho, her friends, Ada, Ngozi, and Nena, pulled her aside. "Uloma, this your Richard, are you sure he's really serious?" Ada asked. Uloma raised her brow, confused. "What do you mean? See, we know you love him. But you're giving this guy your whole heart. Are you sure he's not just playing with your time?" Ngozi folded her arms. "Men can waste your time, make you think there's a future, then disappear. Open your eyes." Uloma chuckled softly and shook her head. "Don't worry. Richard is not like that. He loves me. He won't disappoint." They looked at her with skeptical faces and muttered, "No Yusabi." Even Richard's mother would tell the villagers boldly, "That girl Uloma, she's my daughter-in-law. I don't need to look far." Then came the day Richard left for the city. He was determined to make something of himself and return home a man of value. He hugged Uloma tightly before he boarded the village bus and whispered, "Wait for me, Uloma. I'll make you proud." She waved with tears in her eyes, holding on to his promise like a sacred oath. At first, city life didn't change Richard. He called every evening, asked about her day, teased her about village gossips, and even sent her small airtime once in a while. They laughed over the phone, sometimes whispering sweet promises in the moonlight. But slowly, the calls reduced. He stopped teasing. Stopped laughing. Then, one day, silence. Uloma would stare at her phone, waiting. Sometimes she'd dial his number and hear, "The number you are trying to call is not reachable." The silence turned into weeks. Then the rumors began. It started with a whisper, "Uloma, did you hear Richard is married?" She laughed it off. "Married? Which Richard?" "Not my own Richard." But the whispers turned into voices, and the voices turned into confirmation. "Yes, now, I saw pictures on Facebook. He married one Lagos girl, very light-skinned. They say she's always online doing video call and going live." Uloma's world came crashing. Her legs gave way beneath her one evening, and she sat under the mango tree behind her house, staring blankly at nothing. Her heart, once full of hope, now felt like shattered glass. The same friends who warned her began to mock her behind her back. Nor so loved they blind. See, as she threw away all her suitors. Suitors had come, young farmers, a trader from Nsaka, even a school teacher from the next town. She turned them all down because of one promise. But Richard had chosen another. One who didn't sweep his mother's compound. One who didn't pound yam or smile at his siblings. One who, while he washed plates in the city, sat on Instagram doing live videos and asking followers to drop stars. Richard, now married, began to taste the bitterness of regret. His wife didn't cook. She ordered food online. She hated his mother. She mocked his background. She barely touched a broom. He remembered Yuloma. He remembered her bare feet dancing on the sand while she fetched water. He remembered how she'd fry akara for him with little oil, just to surprise him. He remembered the way her eyes lit up when she talked about the future. Back in the village, just as Yuloma thought life had ended, something unexpected happened. A man named Chuka visited Yumuse for his uncle's burial. He was a businessman based in Port Harcourt, and from the moment he saw Yuloma at the market, something stirred in him. He was captivated, not just by her beauty, but her grace, the way she greeted elders, how she helped a little boy lift his bucket of water. She didn't even know she was being watched. Days later, he sent his aunt to call Yuloma. They talked. They laughed. They clicked. For the first time since Richard's betrayal, Yuloma's heart felt warmth. Chuka didn't waste time. Within 3 months, he returned with his people, paid her bride price, and carried her to the city, this time, not to wash plates or wait by the phone. He gave her keys to her own car, a home of peace, and years later, 3 beautiful children filled their home with joy. One dusty afternoon, a strange figure arrived at Yumuse in an old Sienna vehicle. It was Richard, now lean, broken, and with a plastic bag of regrets. He had divorced his wife after countless fights, betrayal, and shame. He came back to the only woman who ever truly loved him. He asked his mother, "Where is Yuloma? I want to see her. I was foolish. I need to tell her." His mother, with folded arms and a frown, replied, "Yuloma, you left her. She is married now. And not to just anybody, Chuka, the rich man from Port Harcourt. She's happy. She has 3 children. She lives like a queen. You were the fool." Richard sat on the wooden bench outside the compound that used to feel like heaven. He buried his face in his palms and cried, not just for what he lost, but for what he would never get back. Richard didn't leave the village that day. He couldn't. Every corner of Yumuse reminded him of Yuloma. The mango tree where they carved their initials. The footpath to the stream they walked together. Even the borehole still stood there, where she once defended him in front of her mocking friends. But now, she was gone. Married. Happy. A mother. For the first time in his life, Richard felt hollow, not from hunger, but from losing something he didn't realize was gold until it glittered in another man's palace. He walked past her old compound and stood silently in front of the locked gate, imagining the day she left. Was she smiling? Was she crying? Did she think of him when she packed her box? Back home, his mother stared at him with a mixture of disappointment and pity. "You had a jewel in your hand," she muttered one evening as she stirred soup over firewood. "But you dropped her, for ash." Richard said nothing. What could he say? It was that time of the year again, IRIG, New Yam Festival. Drums echoed across the village, dancers practiced under trees, and villagers returned from far and near to celebrate. Then the news broke like lightning: Yuloma is coming back for the festival, with her husband and children. The whole village buzzed. Even little children who didn't know her story whispered about her. Some called her the girl who waited too long, others now called her the queen who won. Richard heard it too. And something inside him snapped. "I must see her," he told himself. The day of the festival came, and Yuloma's car arrived in grand style. The black Prado jeep stirred the dust as it parked beside the village square. People gathered like bees. Yuloma stepped down. She wore a flowing green gown with golden embroidery. Her gele was perfectly tied, and her skin glowed like morning dew. Beside her stood Chuka, elegant in his native attire, and behind them, 3 beautiful children jumped out and waved excitedly at the crowd. Women gasped. Men whispered. Even the elders paused their drinks to admire. Richard stood under a tree, frozen. His heart beat like a talking drum. She had changed, but not in a bad way. She carried herself like royalty, like someone who had been broken, rebuilt, and now walked with pride and peace. Then their eyes met. Just for a second. Uloma looked at him, but there was no anger. No pain. Just peace. She gave him a soft nod. No smile. No words. Just a nod. Then she turned away and walked to the front row with her husband. Richard's knees weakened. That nod, it was more painful than a slap. It meant, I see you. But I've moved on. After the festival, while others danced and celebrated, Richard sat by the stream. The moon reflected on the water's surface as his mind swirled with regret. He remembered the way Uloma used to rest her head on his lap, the way she'd sneak fried groundnuts into his locker at school, and the way she believed in him, even when he had nothing. God, I destroyed my own future, he muttered, voice shaking. As if the universe wanted to punish him, he returned home that night to find out his ex-wife had uploaded another video mocking village boys who can't satisfy city women. His image flashed briefly in the background. The video went viral. Shame piled on shame. He locked himself indoors for weeks, avoiding people, hiding from whispers. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. The village became too small for his regrets. One evening, a little boy handed him an envelope. It was an invitation to the launch of Uloma's Foundation for Village Girls, a program designed to educate, empower, and protect young women from the very heartbreak Uloma once endured. She had turned her pain into purpose. Richard was stunned but deeply moved. He shaved, dressed up, and attended the event quietly. Uloma walked into the hall like a queen, not with pride, but with grace. During her speech, she didn't mock him or mention his name, but her words cut deeply. To the girls who are giving their all to men who are not sure of them, don't lose yourself in the name of love. Build yourself. Love should never cost you your dignity or your future. When someone leaves you, sometimes it's so you can meet someone better. Her words sparked something in Richard. During the open mic session, Richard stood up. All eyes turned. Some were shocked. Some whispered. But Richard wasn't the same broken man. He held the microphone and said, I was once a fool who thought the city held something better than the woman who gave me her all. I chased shadows and lost my light. Let this be a warning to every man here, value what you have before it's gone. Because when real love walks away, you may never find it again. The hall fell silent. Some people clapped. Others cried. Later, Uloma walked up to Richard and looked him in the eye. No bitterness. No love either. Just peace. I forgave you a long time ago, she said. Your mistake built the woman I am today. That day marked the beginning of Richard's transformation. He began volunteering with Uloma's foundation, mentoring young boys in the village. He taught them the importance of respect, commitment, and responsibility. Slowly, the villagers stopped mocking him. They began to admire his courage and change of heart. Years later, Richard became a respected youth counselor. Though he never married again, he found peace in helping others avoid his mistake. He was no longer chasing love, he was building purpose. Moral lessons. Value real love while you have it. Sometimes, the best things don't come wrapped in glitter, they come in humility, loyalty, and sacrifice. Forgiveness frees you. Uloma didn't carry bitterness, she let go, grew, and found joy. Food for thought. When someone doesn't see your value, don't prove your worth by shrinking. Grow. Shine. Rise. Because one day, Even those who doubted you will wish they hadn't. Thank you so much for listening. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of something personal, please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comment section. Your voice matters here, and we'd love to know what lessons you took from Uloma's journey. Sometimes in life, we give our all to someone who doesn't see our value, but that doesn't mean we're not worthy of love. Just like Uloma, never let someone's rejection define your future. Keep growing, keep believing, and let your pain shape you into something stronger and more beautiful. If you enjoyed this story, kindly give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more inspiring and emotional stories that speak to real life. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thank you again for being part of this storytelling journey. See you in the next story.